Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna yap about is avocado in sushi, such as California rolls, but not just California rolls. Nowadays, there's avocado in like 60% of sushi rolls in America, which is pretty absurd considering that avocado does not even exist in Japanese traditional cuisine. Those sad little avocados selling at Japanese grocery stores are only getting picked up by homesick tourists from the NAFTA countries. But I have to say, I love it. Just like pineapple on pizza, I know it's a food atrocity that pisses off the Italians, but as long as it tastes good, who cares? After all, I do think there's a lot of chemistry between rice and avocado. Taste-wise, they just go so well together. That being said, I'm still startled by how prevalent avocado is in American sushi. So this is a lunch special plate I just ordered from a nearby sushi place, and as you can see, there's avocado here, everywhere. I mean, at this point, do we even remember that sushi is supposed to be about rice and fish? Also, why is the rice all right out in the open? Or in other words, why is it all makiros? This plate of sushi looks eerily extroverted. Sushi is supposed to be an introverted dish with a slice of fish on top covering the rice below, echoing characteristics of Japanese people, reserved, keeping to themselves. So not only is the ingredient getting adapted, so is the personality. Nah, that was just some BS I made up. It's probably because nigiri rolls are more expensive due to the higher labor cost, so they opt for maki rolls instead. There is one thing that I especially appreciate about American sushi, which is their naming system. It's just so innovative and fun. Like, you never know what's inside the sushi from their name. Dynamic roll, volcano roll, dragon roll, and apparently this fancy naming system is not limited to sushi. It has permeated into all kinds of cuisines and restaurants. Like, instead of calling chicken tender chicken tenders, they will call it crispy sous vide chicken planks or foraged San Marzano emulsion for spaghetti, showing that innovation is at the heart of the American spirit. A little clarification though, when I say America, I mean like North America, as I live in Canada. Also, if you're wondering why I sound more or less deadpan in this video, it's because I recently got my wisdom tooth taken out and I had only been eating liquids since then, resulting in my grumpy attitude. This plate of sushi marks my first takeout meal after recovery, and I devoured it in no time. Biting into real food again felt spiritual. While I will give the highest compliments to this plate of restaurant sushi, the same cannot be said for grocery store sushi or 7-Eleven sushi. As we all know, 7-Eleven is already pretty terrible in North America. Typically, there's only junk food and a million flavors of soda pops for some reason. However, I've noticed that in recent years, they've started to add a selection of exotic foods, such as sushi, butter chicken, etc. Whenever I see these on the counter, I always get this weird mixed feeling of gratitude and secondhand embarrassment. Part of me does appreciate their effort of introducing a more variety of food, but the other part of me feels embarrassed. What if someone who's never had sushi walks into 7-Eleven and thinks this is the best that foreign food can offer? The rice is dry and crumbly like chalkboard paint, and the inside is just mushy paste.
Totally 0 star.
Moving on to the second item on my roast list, ramen. Now, I do not have any complaints regarding the taste of ramen here in North America. My main issue lies in its price. See, ramen is supposed to be like fast food. From the moment a busy salaryman grabs a seat at the ramen counter to when the ramen is served, it should not take more than a few minutes, and it should not cost more than a fraction of your hourly wage. Unless you're one of those pretentious minators and you only eat premium obscure ramen. My point is, ramen is supposed to be for the masses. As such, it is supposed to be fast and cheap, so that these miserable salarymen can gobble it down without pitting their wallets, then head back to work to complete the toxic work cycle. However, here in North America, ramen is almost treated like some kind of luxury gourmet food. Wait time is usually pretty long, and the price is, well, high enough that I cannot justify eating it more than once a year. Yep, the last time I went for ramen was over a year ago. I just couldn't afford it. It was never cheap to begin with, then with COVID and inflation, price has gone over the roof. A basic bowl of ramen with minimum toppings will easily cost over $16. Then with taxes and tips and everything, you're looking at a range of $20 to $26 for one bowl of ramen. Doing the math in my head, with this amount of money, I can buy 20 packs of instant ramen that will sustain me for a month. So to save money, I'm willing to convince myself that instant ramen and restaurant ramen tastes the same. At least with instant ramen, I can just toss in an egg without a second thought. Whereas with restaurant ramen, I have to debate whether to get that marinated egg for an extra $2.5. Also, this is Canadian price. I'm sure it's even more expensive in America with the egg situation over there. So it is no wonder that when they opened an Ichiran branch in New York, it caused the public uproar because the same bowl of ramen now costs double the price. Alright, moving on to the next item on the list, American Chinese food. Now, I know a lot of people like to bash American Chinese food for being very not authentic, like the fact that orange chicken was entirely invented by Panda Express, broccoli is not even a Chinese vegetable, or that everything just tastes unnecessarily sweeter and greasier.
It tastes like cardboard.
Can't imagine anyone thinking that panda is actually Chinese food.
But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive as a business. If adapting to local tastes helped to reduce discrimination, which was rampant at the time, I think the people that came out with these recipes deserve a lot of respect. Another thing I've always appreciated about American Chinese food is how generous the portions are and how relatively affordable they've always been. Back when I was a broke college student, the $8 2-dish plus rice combo was my midterm staple because it could sustain me for a whole day with all the added sugar and grace, so not gonna complain about that. My only minor complaint would be the veggie options, or rather the lack thereof. Normally the only vegetable dish you will find in these American Chinese eateries is steamed veggies or some basic stir fry which tastes pretty bland. This begs the question, where are all the wonderful vegetable dishes? One thing that I really appreciate about Chinese food or just Asian food in general is how flavorful they cook their vegetables. This TikTok video from Tram, a Vietnamese creator, puts it perfectly.
I never understood why American movies and animations always portrayed vegetables as yucky. There's always that one scene where the parents are like, eat your vegetables, and then the kid would like flip out and throw a tantrum. As a Vietnamese person who grew up in Vietnam, I have never seen that happen. For example, I have never met a kid who would willingly turn down gan bi da. Till I came to America and was served a plate of microwaved broccoli that was mushy and tasted like the freezer. They're telling me that I have to go from these beautiful, tasty, luscious vegetable dishes to this.
Alright, moving on to the next item, my biggest gripe so far, something that gives me instant rage. It's not a food item, but rather something about America's urban development that I think damaged the entire nation's food culture. If you ever lived in East Asia, chances are you probably lived in one of these apartment buildings. Then you must be able to relate to this. It's very easy to get food. Usually within minutes of walking distance, you've got convenience stores, a ton of restaurants and eateries, grocery stores, all scattered around walkable alleyways. Walk a bit further and you might even bump into a shopping mall with the food court, which offers a million food options all within walking distance. So you never have to plan out your takeout meals ahead of time or ever have your cravings not being met at the moment. However, here in North America, if I were to use one word to describe the entire living experience, it would be stuck. Stuck in a house which is located in the middle of a jillion houses, there's zero commercial stores within the neighborhood, and you have to hop on a car, drive a ton of miles even just to get some bottled water, all because of this hellscape called the American zoning system. I couldn't for the life of me understand the logic behind this system. Maybe I'm too stupid to understand the complexities of urban planning. My two brain cells cannot comprehend the supposed dangers of commercial stores. Like, what kind of criminal activity is a little restaurant gonna bring to the neighborhood? As a result, in North America, let's say it's 1 a.m. and you're feeling hungry. Actually, it doesn't even have to be that late. Let's say it's 10 p.m. Well, you're screwed. There's no restaurant nearby, so you have to resort to either delivery or drive around. Yet, most places are closed at this point because apparently nightlife is non-existent in America. So just soak some cereals and call it a day. This zoning law not only undermines the food scenes, I'm also starting to think that it low-key exacerbates the whole drug problem in North America. So the summer before coming to North America, my English was pretty ass at the time, so I binge-watched a ton of American dramas to learn English. English. And one of the biggest culture shocks was seeing how much people do drugs, especially teenagers. Like whenever these teens are feeling down for whatever reason, their default option is to resort to chemicals. This is unfathomable in East Asia, where it is extremely rare to hear about anyone getting involved with drugs. However, after moving to North America, I'm starting to understand why people would turn to drugs. Boredom. See, in East Asia, even if you are feeling rebellious, there's still so much else to do besides drugs. And none of them requires having to ask your parents to drive you around. Within walking distance from your school, you could access karaoke bars, escape rooms where you can hang out with your friends, internet bars/cafes where you can play video games all night, and the list goes on. Yet here in North America, as a teenager, to access any of those fun activities would require asking mommy and daddy to not only drive you, but also wait for you and pick you up. So to avoid all that hassle, sleepover parties have become the #1 pastime hobby among North American teens. You simply move from one house to another house and stay there for the weekend. It's just convenient. Now, what are you gonna do at these boring ass parties? There's only so much chit chat you can make with the same group of friends before boredom kicks in. And you cannot exactly live and go somewhere fun because remember, you are stuck in the middle of suburbia. Faced with all the boredom, it is therefore not hard to conceive why they would turn to drugs. Anyhow, I'm going on a tangent here. This video started with sushi and somehow spiraled into talking about urban planning and America's socio-economic issues. Quite a wild journey. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.